Riches will no more satisfy the soul than salt water will quench thirst. In the days of the early empire of Rome, when riches and sensual pleasures abounded, suicide was most widely prevalent. Earthly possessions are not a continual source of anxiety. He who rests in them is tormented by them, like a man who reposes on thorns. As the fresh water of the rivers are changed into the salt waters of the sea, so all earthly pleasures sooner or later turn to bitterness. Forbidden pleasure soon brings misery after them, like the forbidden fruit. They are like bait that has a hook concealed within it. Earthly goods all forsake us when we die. We brought we brought nothing into the world, and certainly we cannot carry anything out of it. 1 Timothy 5 no 1 Timothy 6 verse 7. When the Pope is crowned, a handful of tow is kindled, and while it blazes up, the choir sings. Thus passes the glory of the world. As the spider spins a web out of its own bowels, and in a moment the broom sweeps it all away, so man labors for long years to obtain some honor or possession or office. Some obstacles come in the way. Death or sickness visits him, and all the labor is gone for naught. As the glowworm shines in the night, but in the light of day is but an ugly insect, so the delights of the earth are brilliant during the night of life on earth, but under the light of the day of judgment will show themselves vain and worthless. Earthly goods are given to us only that through them we may attain to eternal happiness. Every creature on earth is intended as a step to bring us nearer to God. As in the workshop of the painter, brushes, colors, oils are all destined to serve to the completion of the picture, so all things in the world are intended to contribute to our eternal happiness in heaven. Not to use earthly things for this end is to lose the hope of eternal happiness, but to make them our end and to be dependent on them no less deprives us of the end for which they were created. Earthly goods are like the surgeon's instruments. If they are ill employed, they will kill instead of curing. We must therefore use them only insofar as they help us towards the attainment of our last end. When they hinder us, we must cut ourselves free from them. We must not serve them, they must serve us. 2. Only the gospel of Christ is capable of giving us a partial happiness on earth, for he who follows the teaching of Christ is certain to have peace in his soul. This is why Christ says to the Samaritan woman, "He that shall drink of the water that I shall give him shall not thirst forever." John 4 verse 13. And again, "He that cometh to me shall never hunger." John 6:35. The teachings of Christ can alone satisfy the heart of man. The reason of this is that earthly sufferings do not render unhappy the man who follows Christ. 3. He who follows Christ will have to endure persecution, but these persecutions can do him no harm. St. Paul tells us that all who will live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. 2 Timothy 3, verse 12.